whose father created an academic society just so that they would have a place where they would be allowed to perform? Well, today I want to tell you about an Italian vocalist and composer by the name of Barbara Strozzi. Barbara had an interesting childhood. She was born in Venice, in Italy, in 1619. And Venice was a very vibrant city, full of music, full of theater. She was raised in the household of Giulio Strozzi. Now, she was adopted. However, it is believed that she was his biological daughter, and mom was probably one of the maids. But he adopted her, accepted her as his daughter, and she was surrounded by this music, by this art, by this poetry her entire life growing up. She had a beautiful voice, and her father quickly was like, maybe we should get you some lessons. So he got the best teachers out there in Venice to come and teach her. Such excellent education was highly unusual for women at this time, but he believed in her father, so much that he just kept going. And then not only did she have vocal lessons, but then she also took lessons at composing that her teacher actually had been taught by Monteverdi himself. In her teenage years, she was ready to perform. She was doing very well, but many places wouldn't allow women. So they would allow you maybe to come once in a while, but they wouldn't be like a full-time woman performer. So her dad was like, no problem. And he founded this academic society called Accademia degli Unisoni, Academy of the Like-Minded. And people came because the stuff there was good. The performances were great, but that was created just so she would have a place to perform as a woman. As she grew into adulthood, people really admired her, and she had a lot of respect from people, both as a vocalist, but also as a composer, because she was starting to get her pieces out. She ended up publishing 8 collections of vocal music. This is way more than any other woman in the 1600s, and also very interesting because at the time, if you were a composer of any kind, you need to have a patronage, someone to pay you so you could make a living, a church or maybe a court. And nobody was going to hire this woman not because she wasn't good, but because she was a woman. So her father ended up being her patronage for a long time. Her music wasn't a great variety of different types. It was mostly all vocal, and most of it was actually for sopranos because she herself was a soprano. Her music is early Venetian Baroque music, and it was heavily influenced by Monteverdi and other people at the time that came right before her. She was very known for her expressive vocal lines. They were very passionate, and there was a lot of tenderness and longing and grieving. But here's one of the things that really set her apart, especially for a woman. If any woman was composing, it was going to be a mass or something religious, but she wasn't necessarily composing religious text. She was composing about life and about love. Now, despite her success and recognition that her work was good, which it was, she did face a lot of public criticism. People were like, whoa, that woman is working. And so they often assumed that she must be some courtesan, which is like, red light district kind of people. But she was not. These accusations were rooted in just this prejudice of at the time that a working woman must be loose. Now, she didn't really help herself, okay, because she did end up having 4 children out of wedlock. She never married. It's believed that they all had the same father, and he was one of her patrons, not her dad, another patron. So she didn't help herself with that, but she didn't want to necessarily get married. It wasn't her thing. However, I think it's pretty impressive because she was managing this whole family, raising these kids while facing social judgment and still working as a performer and as a composer and still doing okay. Even after her father died, it was a little bit harder, but she was able to get enough patrons to kind of make a living. At her later years, she moved to Padua and lived out her final days there. In 1677, she passed away, leaving this legacy of one of the most significant female composers at the early Baroque time. And then for a long time, as many of these composers have, her music went dormant. People kind of forgot about it, but it has come back, especially for sopranos. This is really in their repertoire because it is so lovely and so beautiful and so dramatic. Go listen to something by Barbara Strozzi.